Hello and welcome to our place in Sicily, and we are headed back to the United States for Thanksgiving. We are very, very excited, and we will see our family and friends there. In the meantime, work is just getting ready to get started again, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So here I am standing under our beautiful circular staircase, which is nowhere near where we're doing our work. The work that we're getting ready to do next is over there in our guest house. And we just had a great meeting with our architect, Architetto Grippaldi, who is fantastic and has maybe reworked the budget, the plan for us 3 or 4 times. And we're going to talk a little bit about why we're restructuring and what's next, because we're going to start work back in the guest house like we started out this whole thing, maybe while we're even gone in the US. So we're going to cap off the year with starting back truly on finishing the guest house, and we're so excited.
Where we are is we're finally kind of
No.
What? Oh, where are we physically?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're at Squam Lake in New Hampshire, and we're on our Thanksgiving festival of houses. We had a great Thanksgiving, and we're visiting Matt's family now, and there's a beautiful lake behind us. So, which is kind of where we started this all off, that first announcement that we're buying a house. Our offer was accepted while we were here.
Throwback.
Okay, so there's been an unglut?
I don't know.
There's been an absence of construction, you may have noticed, for the last few weeks. Doesn't mean we haven't been doing stuff.
No, I think important stuff's being done. We also had like what feels like 2+ weeks of like really hard rain all the time. So nobody really wanted to be working on on concrete work and various things that we might have been able to work on.
Yep.
Nobody was going to work in.
Yeah, and so we didn't send the crew. The crew went to work on another project so they could come back and dive in. But first we needed to have an electrician come out and give us a quote for all the full electrical work for the guest house parts.
Yeah, and I think we really, in working with the Geometra and the construction company, I think we're finally kind of repositioned into where we want to be for the amount of like sort of money we can pay.
Well, let's get back to stuff. Let's circle back to that in just a second. But he's getting to a point that we need to be at a certain level of finances for this. So things have been slow on site, but we've been working on our kitchen plan. Jenn and I, the designer, Jennifer Bertrand and I have been working on the kitchen a little bit. The next thing we're going to do is bring in Chef Michelle Ragusis, who's going to do a call with us that we're hopefully going to record for you. So she can give us sort of her kitchen insight. So Jenn is a fantastic designer, but we have some ideas that we need a professional chef to weigh in on. And then we're going to hand it back to Igor, and he'll give us sort of his vision of the kitchen, how it relates to the other items that he's really been focused on. So that's been going on. We've been sourcing things, we've been finding tile, we've been finding lights, doing all that stuff. I think now going back to what you were saying is finances and how we're going to finance this. And, we have a finite amount of finances. We have finite finances. And we're just been working on moving them from one asset to another. And what's been so great is our architect Grippaldi, Igor, and Stefano have been very generous with their time helping us restructure this so that we can keep making it work.
Instead of working whole house, we're going to split. We're going to focus on the guest house, and we'll just sort of deliberately put the main house construction side a little further out.
And we can do that because we actually have completed a bunch of work in the main house, but it's undoing work. So we've demoed a lot of the walls that need to have the same reinforcement. We're preparing everything structurally for holding the roof. So when we're ready financially to do the roof, we can put up all the scaffolding all around on the street, around the house, and dive into that. So the last thing before we dive into the back into the guest house, is to finish the structural pieces. So, and we've got we're going to be popping up some video while we're talking here, so we don't bore you. But we have one corner that we need to put some reinforcement bar into to hold the corner. There's a crack there. We've talked about it in a bunch of our videos. So we're going to finish that. We're going to finish any of the structural wall that has to do with the space over the guest house. So some of our main house overlaps the guest house, or the adjacent wall to that. And we need a ceiling floor. So we need the ceiling of the guest house. That is also the floor of our bedroom and bathroom of the main house. Those two overlap. We're going to put that back in.
Yep.
It already has the structural steel. We're just going to build the floor. I think sort of do I think, what did they call it? It was like a faux floor. They're going to do a faux ceiling. So the floor is not going to be finished from the top, but the ceiling is going to be finished from the bottom.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of, I guess what we'd call, in the US, we'd call it sort of plenum space between the levels to be able to run
plenum space. You can look that up and use it in your daily vocabulary. So yeah, and then we are in the guest house. We're doing the flooring, we're doing the electric, we're doing the plumbing, the the hydraulics, which is the plumbing. We are putting in the toilets and the sinks and having the kitchen cabinets made. And we've been told that this level of the project, we've got about 90 working days. So we got to work through the holidays. I mean, they won't work through the holidays. We got to pass the holidays. Time we'll go back down for some of December. But by the spring, we should be fully moved in, have all our electricity, have all our plumbing, be able to shower, use the toilet, use the sink, put the fridge in. All of this, almost all of the things we need to buy are there. So that'll be great. And then it'll be time for us to come up with the plan on how to move forward on the main house. Do we do the roof? Do we do the last of there's little parts of demolition, and how do we do that? And that'll all depend on, on how our finances have moved, how we've been able to move the stuff around. It's a complicated dance, but it's one that's worth doing. Yeah, so then in the main house, the things that are going on, since I have some video of this, we've been working on sort of mood boards for the living room, which is my favorite pink ceilinged room. While we've been home here when we were down in Massachusetts, we sat with Becky and Brian and talked to them a little bit about what they want to see in their bathroom and their guest room. I mean, it will be a guest room for anybody who comes, but it's theirs, so we wanted them to help pick it out. So we've got some ideas from them, so I'll be making mood boards. You might see those coming up. Yeah, and we're really getting deep. Now it's time to do all that stuff we did for the guest house while they're building the guest house and finishing that, and we'll be sharing that with you. We'll also be diving in pretty deep, pretty quickly on what needs to go into the main house. Yeah, and to give some other backstory, so when we met with Igor, which I said earlier in the video, we sat down, we had written down everything that we had done in a previous contract. We had to sort of rework the contract because the contract said we were going to focus on something else. So they worked, Stefano and Igor, our builder and architect, have worked to restructure everything and said, okay, these are all the things that you did and all the things you paid for. We've got that list. Here are those papers. These are the things that we've started and that you have paid for and haven't paid for. Okay, that's good. And this is what we're going to do for the next 90 days. And it was so clear, but I know they worked hard on that.
Yep.
Everybody's first question to me is how hard is it to get, good help there? I know people struggle with it. I know how lucky we are to have our team working with us. Architetto Grapaldi and Stefano from SC Works and Jennifer Bertrand. She's been super helpful. So until next time,
Ciao.
ciao ciao.